It was quiet, started falling back to sleep. Then 1:30 a.m. came. Hear banging, some laughing, and then I just lost it. Hello everyone, it's Jason, and I'm here to answer your questions about Zen, meditation, your practice life, any kind of question. And today's question is about anger, because this is something I've been hearing a lot about lately, and I received this email. And the question is, I've been practicing Zen for several years, and recently I had an experience of intense anger appearing during sitting. It seemed to come out of nowhere and was wondering how to practice with anger. Am I doing something wrong? So this is a very good question. I think we all experience this, no matter how long you've been practicing meditation. When I first started practicing Zen, I heard a teaching about anger from Zen Master Seung Song. And he said that there's 4 types of anger. The first type of anger is attachment anger. So this is anger that we hold on to. We do not let go. We put a lot of energy into it. And we can hold it for days, months, sometimes even years. This is probably the type of anger that causes the most problems for ourselves and others. The second type of anger he mentioned was reflective anger. So this is the type of anger, let's say somebody said something to you and you snap back with either words or maybe some actions. So it's reflective anger at that moment. The third type of anger is perceived anger. So inside, you're experiencing, sensing this anger, but you're not acting on it. It doesn't control your speech, your words, or your actions. And then the last type of anger is what he called Bodhisattva anger. So this is anger that you can use in the moment to help the situation. So it sounded very good to me when I first heard this. It sounded very linear. Like, all right, I'm holding on to anger. So if I do a little more practicing, then it will just be reflective anger. Then if I practice even more, then I'll just perceive anger inside, not controlling me. And then if I master meditation, then I can use this anger to help this world. But from my experience, I perceived or learned that it's not a linear process. It's just different types, or in this case, 4 types of relationship to anger. Any one of these 4 can appear at any time. What I want to talk about is how to practice with these 4 types of anger. And what I mean by practice is, how do we relate to it in the moment? How do we respond in that moment? So if we look about attachment anger, that's very interesting because it's really a choice of letting go, not holding on to the anger or putting energy into it. But that's very difficult. So that's why we talk about meditation practice and having a daily practice, practicing with others, doing retreats. Because what it's doing is putting our energy into what we are doing, helping us practice, which means doing it, putting our energy into the moment, rather than putting our energy into our thoughts and feelings. I have a lot of videos about this. So that's an ongoing practice. Still, it's not so easy because a lot of the times is we self-identify with the anger and maybe we're absorbed with ourself that it's almost impossible to let go. So that's why in Zen practice, we use great questions. You might hear the great question in Zen practice. And that can be, what is this? Or what am I? And regarding anger, if anger appears, We notice the anger, we perceive the anger, question it. That's interesting. Where does this anger come from? What is the thing that's holding the anger? Where does it live? And if we investigate that very closely, we don't know. We can't see where anger comes from. What is the thing that's holding this? So that's really getting back to the self. What is this I or the self that is angry? What is this thing that is angry? Asking these type of questions really loosens the grip. Again, like I said, it's usually the holding. So it loosens the grip of anger. Then anger is just what it is. It may be a strong feeling or sense, but we're not grasping after it. So that's the best way to deal with this first type of anger. And it's not just we do it one time and then everything's clear. It's every moment letting go. Letting go means put my energy into what I'm doing now. The second type of anger, this reflective anger, is something that we all experience on occasion. I just experienced this recently. We were celebrating my son's birthday, and we went somewhere for 2 nights, and we all slept together in the room, our family. And I usually know that I don't usually sleep very well when we're all sleeping together. The kids are punching me at night, the dog's making noise, all kinds of different things. So I already knew that in advance. So there was 2 nights where I didn't get very much sleep. So I wasn't functioning very well. We came back home, and my son wanted to have kind of a sleepover with his neighborhood friends. So there's 2 of his friends came over to the house, and they were going to stay the night. So first they were watching movies, and then they were going to have the sleepover in his room. Now his room is right next to our room. So I already knew they're probably going to stay up late, so I'm going to be ready for this. I put in earplugs, turned on the sound machine, all kinds of stuff, and fell asleep. I go to bed pretty early, so I was asleep maybe by 9:30. And then it was around 12:30 a.m. I'm hearing thumping and banging and a little bit of laughing. So when this appeared, I was like, I just want to get some sleep. I haven't slept very well for the last couple nights. I need to sleep. So I can already feel the anger appearing. And then I took a deep breath, relaxed, fell back to sleep. Then 1 a.m., I hear banging and some scratching noises and some laughing. So now I'm getting a little more upset, right? I didn't really fall back asleep. I'm still kind of like trying to sleep. So I banged on the wall, boom, 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 really loud. All right, then it was quiet, started falling back to sleep. Then 1:30 a.m. came. Hear banging, some laughing, and then I just lost it. This is where the anger just went. So I got up, I went to the room, opened the door, said, "Go to sleep." Shut the door, went back to the room. In fact, I slept in the laundry room. And when I laid down, I was wondering, wow, was that the most skillful way to handle the situation? But at that moment, it's just what appeared. So I thought that's interesting to talk about when this type of reflective anger appears with either words or actions. What can we do about it? A lot of the times what we do is check ourselves. Oh gosh, was that very clear? Was that very helpful? Am I a good dad? Where was my meditation then? This kind of checking doesn't help the situation. So what I did was, first of all, I took some deep breaths. And even though the anger was there, I didn't put energy into it and didn't hold on to it. So that's the number one step. Took some very deep breaths, Because a lot of the time, when the anger appears, you can really feel it in our heads and sometimes the chest. And you can maybe even start to shake, like physically. I've noticed this during long retreats where I'm sitting, everything is clear and peaceful. And then I have a thought of something that happened in the past. And I can feel the anger. I feel my heart beating a little bit faster. You can really see this during sitting, right? You feel the energy coming up to your head. When you're clear, you can see this whole chain of cause and effect. But that didn't happen this night. So I let it go. Went to sleep. And in the morning, I slept in until like 10 a.m. My son came in with coffee. And he said, "Oh, Dad, I'm really sorry that we kept you up last night." And it was interesting when he said that. It's like the anger wasn't there when I woke up. It wasn't there at all because I wasn't holding it. And also I understood, they were just trying to have fun and enjoy themselves. And it was really putting myself into their situation, like, of course. And I told him, I really totally understand. And this is what is really important. I told him that I completely understand. You guys wanted to have fun. I didn't sleep well for the previous nights. You know that. So I wasn't able to be skillful in how I responded. So I made it very clear. It's not your fault. It's my relationship to what happened wasn't clear. And also I told him, I also care about you. I know that if my son doesn't sleep very well, that, he also can't function very well too. So there was some love behind it. And I think what's important is that if we snap, whether it's speech or words, make it clear. Don't judge it. A lot of the times people are avoiding it. Parents can be like this sometimes. The parents are yelling at the kid and then they walk away, but they never make the situation clear. So the parents the children are wondering, wow, did I do something wrong? Am I a bad person? So Zen is not about being perfect. We are going to make mistakes. And just hearing that, actually, it's not a mistake, actually. So how I responded wasn't a mistake. The mistake would be not making the situation clear. So I think that's how we can practice with this reflective anger. So if somebody does something or says something to you and you snap, just be with it. And sometimes we just can't deal with it at that moment, so make it clear. Maybe the correct thing to do at that moment is, hey, I can't talk about this right now because I have a feeling my words are not going to be very helpful, and just walk away. Sometimes people may need space. Then make it clear later. So everyone is different. Everyone responds differently. But the most important is don't check it. Don't judge it. And make the situation clear at that moment. The third type of anger is this perceived anger. So this may happen during sitting meditation. It may happen at work, where again, you can feel the energy come up. So that's, again, very clear to practice with. First of all, make sure you're taking deep breaths. That means breathing in through the nose, letting your lower belly expand, breathing out twice as long, letting this lower belly contract. That's very important. That helps take the energy out of your head or chest. And sometimes we say the energy comes to your center. I just like to say your energy becomes clear or balanced. So that's really the most important step. I've heard this a lot too with practitioners, like something happened and really they're boiling. And just taking that deep breath, breathing in, breathing out twice as long, boom, clears the energy. Maybe it doesn't go away, but you're able to function clearly. And also you can use the technique of questioning it. That was interesting. Where does this anger come from? Don't know. That really opens us up. That would lead us to the last type of anger, Bodhisattva anger. Because really, anger is just energy. It's not good or bad. I know we judge it a lot, but it's just energy. And just like with any kind of energy that you're experiencing in the moment, can you use it? If you can't use it, let it go. If you can use it, then use it. One example that stands out is when my son was maybe 2.5. We lived like in this cul-de-sac, and he was walking out in the cul-de-sac and the car was coming. And at that moment, anger appeared, but it was very clear and directed. I looked at him and said, "Miles, get out of the street." And then pulled him and used very strong words about why I was angry. And again, this anger comes out of love. Usually anger comes out of like and dislike, and that's what causes unclarity, confusion, and eventually suffering. But if the anger is clear, everybody will understand that. Maybe not at the moment, but they'll understand it eventually. So instead of, if I didn't use this type of anger, maybe I would say, "Oh, Miles, you shouldn't do that because of," this kind of talk. It doesn't really get deep into the consciousness of why it's important not just to walk out in the street. But using these very strong words, a lot of energy. We can call it anger, but it's just energy. Making the situation clear and make clear why not to do this. Then he understood. In fact, he never did it again. And even though he was kind of shocked when I was talking to him, he knew it came from a different place. So I think that's really important with any kind of emotions or energy is, can we use it in the moment? Anger is not good or bad. If you can use it, use it. If it appears and you can't use it in the moment, let it go. How do you let it go? Don't put energy into it. Put your energy into what you're seeing, to what you're hearing, to what's happening at that moment. I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any tips or recommendation of how to practice with anger, put it down in the comments below. Also, if you do have a question about Zen, meditation, your practice life, you can put it down in the comments below or email me, jason@jasonquinnzen.com. All right, everyone, that's it for me for today. I hope to see you all very soon.